Hi Nine, today I'm going to show you guys how to take a drawing or something that you have created with your hands and turn it into a vectorized image that you can edit in Illustrator and convert into something wonderful. Now keep in mind, this example is very basic and there is so much more you can do. I just did this really quickly to show you the techniques. I encourage you to make your designs even better and even more beautiful and take a lot of time in editing it. So the first thing you need to do is actually do a design on a piece of paper. So whether you do a whole bunch of them and you try lots and lots of different things, I want you to think about different thicknesses of your lines and all of that. But what it comes down to is you need to have a design that is completely got nice, thick and bold lines. Okay, we don't want it done in lead pencil because often this process won't pick it up as well. So do your work in lead pencil, then go over it again in a permanent marker or something a bit darker so that the lines are really distinct. Once you're happy with the way that it looks for the most part, remembering that we can edit it once it goes onto our computers, you need to airdrop it from your phone, taking a good quality photo, making sure it's lit well, no shadows over it, and then airdrop that image to your computer. Now, one issue you might come into is that when you airdrop a photo from your phone to your MacBook, it turns into a HEIC or a hike file. And for some reason, I don't know why our phones do this, but Illustrator doesn't like it, Photoshop won't like it, iLearn won't like it, and we need to turn it into what photos normally are, JPG or JPEG. There are lots of ways you can do this, but my favorite way is just taking a screenshot. So you click Command-Shift-4 on your keyboard. That was Command-Shift-4, and you get this little screenshot toggle. And you drag where you want your screenshot to go. And that should automatically save to your desktop, right here. The next step is then to open your Illustrator. Now this obviously is not the best example, but it's what we're going to work towards. You're going to open a new file. So when it opens up, it should open up something like this. I want you to go create new, and then just an A4 design is fine, and you can call it what you want. So I'm going to call it masterpiece text. Now keep in mind, I've done text, but with yours you can do text, you can do drawings, all sorts of things, and you can layer them together. Anyway, we have our board open. All you need to do is simply find your screenshot, drag and drop it onto your canvas. Move it around to where you like. If you need to resize it, make sure you hold down the shift key so it keeps, nope, that's the wrong one. We need to make sure we're using the right tool. So up here, we need to make sure the selection tool is highlighted. There you go. Now we have these little white toggles in the corner. Again, shift key holding down to make sure it maintains its ratio, and drag it there. I might make it a bit bigger so we can see. Great. Now what we're going to do is we are going to make sure that we are going to do a trace. So what this is going to do is it's going to scan the picture and it's going to look for black lines and it's going to pick them up and turn them into editable lines that we can use. So you need to make sure that in your window, the control bar is turned on, okay? And then what you should find is you should automatically have these settings pop up at the top. The one we're looking for is image trace. It's going to do that scan. So click on that one. And there you go. What you can see it's done is it has scanned the image and it has turned it into an editable file. And what we need to do is one more step is actually turn it into something we can click and drag and change by hitting expand. And what that has now done is you can see that it's selectable. Now we need to go to the direct selection tool like we were accidentally on before. And see how when I hover over it, I actually can edit my artwork. The first thing you need to do that you might not think that you need to is this section here that's got the square. That's actually the background that's been selected. So I want you to delete that because we don't need it anymore. So drag it to the side and delete. And you'll see that this is all still editable now. One thing you also might want to do is go through and delete these center pieces. You'll see what I mean in a minute. It's really easy to do. You just select it, make sure we're using the direct selection tool. I'll show you what happens if I use just the general selection tool. It'll select it all together. When you want to edit individual things, the direct selection tool directly selects what you want. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we are going to add some color, and then we want to make sure all our edges look really great. So to do that, direct selection tool, select on the letter that you want to edit, zoom on in, and then since we've done our pen tool practice, we're going to be using those methods. So you can click and you can drag and you can move anchors around, you can delete anchors, you can do all sorts of things to change the shape of our letters. So if we don't like them, or if we want them to be doing something else, we can go in and we can fine tune and we can edit them by grabbing, grab the handles. Well, that's groovy. There's lots of things that you can do. So I want you to go in, I want you to fine tune all of your letters. You can even select things and move them around. So now I've got that selection tool. We should be able to move some things around individually, and you can create your layout better and make it exactly how you want it to be. Okay, so let's pretend we've gone through and we've fixed things. So even an example, something like this. I want to make that rounder. See how I fixed that corner up? Just making it nice and refined until we're happy with it. And then we're going to add our color. So to do that, you want to select the text that you want to change the color of. Down here, a little question mark, because it actually doesn't know what color it is yet, because all we've done is scan it. So you can click on it, double click on it, and it'll open up a color palette, and you can pick whatever color you want. That'll work. For now, hit OK. Now, remember what I said about these center sections. We want to get rid of those. Well, you might not want to, depending on your style, but going through and deleting them will make them nice and open again. Now, the thing with Illustrator that can be kind of annoying is the way that it works with color and remembering what colors you've used and things like that. So what you can do is you can come over to this color panel. If you don't have this panel here, just search swatches and follow the instructions to turn that tick on, and the swatches panel will appear. What you can do is you can go making a new color group, and you could call it, say this is going to be our masterpiece color group for this artwork. And then whenever you add a color, what I recommend you do is you drag and drop it into that group. And that way you always have a memory of it, and it's easy for you to go back and find that exact same color again. Now, we can pop that away. Let's do it for the next one. Oh, we didn't get that apostrophe there. And then what color do we want to make it? Let's make it a blue. It's more of a purple, that's okay. We can delete those. And then this one here. And say it's a little bit tricky to get it all in one rectangle. You hold down the shift button and you can select other sections too. Let's make this more of a blue. Let's make it like a brighter blue. Let's go, oh, I didn't save that color. Hang on. Let's go back here really quickly. Save that color. Okay, now we'll do this one. Shift to grab my extra pieces. And then let's grab more of like a brighter blue. And then again, going through and deleting, our pieces. You might need to grab a few different sections. Maybe let's make these. Oh, forgot to grab the color again. There we go. And then maybe let's make these the colors that we've already used before for some continuity. Do a bit of a pattern. Grab both of those, make them purple. Okay, great. Oops, almost great. Section, great. Now what we've got is we have colored our work. Hopefully we've gone through and we've edited it to make it exactly how we want. We've moved some things around. We've fixed this because this looks groovy as. I don't like that. I also don't like the fact that I keep saying groovy. See how I'm deleting anchors? Oh, I don't want to get rid of that one. Something like that. Anyway, we can work on that. So then we have our basic editing done. And this is really great for our phone backgrounds, for our computer backgrounds, whatever we're doing for this task. Think about though what you want to have actually in the background. This white space is quite boring. I suggest you do some kind of interesting design, add some work to it, add some pictures to it. The other thing you can think about is we have obviously all the tutorials that we've done before. So think about the tutorial that you did recently for your text. You can use those same techniques that you used on the font that you were looking at to these words. So you could come up with some like neon work, or you could come up with some 3D work. Tons of YouTube tutorials out there you can follow using this that you've already come up with. Or simply have a play and go through effect And there are so many different things that you can try. There's drop shadows, there's glows there. You can see 3D tools, all sorts of things that you can do to try and figure out some really creative designs. So have a play with it. This technique is really, really helpful for just taking something you've drawn with your hand and turning it straight into a digital image that you can edit. And remember, it's turning it into a vector. So what that means is when we export it properly, it actually can be blown up really, really big, or it can be shrunk down really small, and it doesn't impact the quality of the image because it actually turns it into a mathematical equation, which you don't need to know about, but all you need to know is it works. The final thing I'll show you is when you're done with it, hopefully you have a whole background finished and everything, but if you wanted to export it so it has a transparent background, and then maybe you could upload it into Procreate or something like that and put a different background behind it using a different app. You don't want to have all of this white space. You want it to be see-through. So what you can do is you can go to this export button. Oh, that's the wrong one. I apologize. Export, and then you go export as. And then it'll just pop up in a second. Make sure it's saved to what you want, where you want it to be. A PNG is a file type that we're looking for. There's all these options, but just stick with PNG. And you go export, and this is the important part. Down here, it says background color. You can choose white, black, but we're looking for transparent. And you can see that they have these little white and gray checker points. Super important that that's there because that means that it is transparent and you can pop it onto any other background and you won't have any background on your image here, okay? And then let's check if it worked. There we go, masterpiece text PNG, that's what we made. Let's have a look at it. And you can see that it has that clear background. And you can also see where we forgot to delete that white section. So there you have it. If you have any questions, please let me know. But this technique is really, really helpful and I can't wait to see what you come up with.